Good morning and welcome back to another Saturday Somm-Things with Mats. Hi, I'm Mats, and before we get started with this great program, I have to thank everybody out there who voted with their hearts against the propositions 124, 125, 126. It means that you can still have great selections at Argonaut with the best prices in town and not worry about being outdone by every single conglomerate on every single corner, so thank you. Okay, on with the show. These are going to be cabs from around the world, or what I would like to consider the beginning of Thanksgiving season. My good friend Chris Rowe from Old World Cellars is back with us today to tell us about these wonderful cabs. Chris, welcome back.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here as always. A great selection for today, and yes, that was kind of my idea. Of course, the weather has cooperated, and now it's nice and cold and getting into red wine season.
It's brisk.
And what is better way to celebrate than some wonderful Cabernet Sauvignon?
Sure.
And so we selected 4 cabs, and I use that loosely because we have a Cabernet Franc and a Cabernet blend that sandwich in between 2 straight Cabernet Sauvignons.
Okay.
And we'll bounce around the world, so we have 2 from Australia and 2 from California. Wonderful representations of both parts of the world here.
Okay, let's start with number 1.
So number 1 is a wine that has been a big friend of Argonaut for many, many years. It's Penley Estate. And years ago, Kim Tolley, the original founder, actually had him in here for a tasting.
Yes.
Yeah, he was
I do
a
remember
wonderful
that.
tasting here about a decade ago.
Right before he retired in
Yeah.
2015.
And the Phoenix has been in the store for 15 years. But I want to do something fun that
Okay.
was recently added. The first one is a Cabernet Franc from the same producer. Cabernet Franc, a little known fact, is the parent of Cabernet Sauvignon. So hundreds of years ago, cross-pollinated with Sauvignon Blanc to create Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's a wonderful way to introduce people to Cabernet Sauvignon with a Cabernet Franc because it's not as full-bodied. It's wonderfully aromatic like a Cabernet Sauvignon, but it doesn't have as harsh a tannins. It's got really high acidity, great balance. This one in particular doesn't see any oak, and it actually sees a little bit of whole cluster and a little bit of carbonic maceration, so a unique way to make this wine. It reminds me more of the Cabernet Francs you'll find in France from the Rhone Valley.
I like it because it matches my shirt along with the other great wines. But
well, unlike most cabs, you can actually see right through it.
Yeah,
and that is because
lighter.
it is a lighter varietal and it doesn't see any oak to it.
A lot of wood violets, driftwood. I'm getting some Bing cherries. The notes and flavors are lifted. They're not dense in your face, and that's the true beauty about a Cab Franc.
But super easy to drink. I mean, I love this wine because it's approachable, and not only that, but you're one of the few places that carry it. So we get 500 cases a year.
Wow.
This was recently added. We have plenty on hold for you as well.
Okay.
Ms. Sheila has brought some more in for next week, so we'll have good availability for it through the end of the year for you.
Good. And what's nice about Penley Estate being from Australia, they have a new winemaker. Her name is Kate Goodman.
No, we love Kate.
And she is just doing amazing things. As when you come down to Argonaut and pick some of these up, you'll see that they're just dynamic.
Yeah. She was winemaker of the year in 2020.
Okay.
And she has had 3 wines of hers in Wine Spectator Top 100 since she took over. So an amazing feat for a winery that was already very well established. And we'll actually get to the Phoenix very shortly here. That's the one that she's kind of made her notes on.
Right. I love this, but we have to go on to number 2.
So number 2 is a name that most people recognize, Greg Norman. And Greg Norman we have partnered with for the last 4 years. Our goal was to bring his wines into our fold. So we knew we had great winemakers to actually work with. We knew that we had great regions we could put his wines into. And we also knew that his label needed a little bit of upgrade. So we joined forces with him 4 years ago, and the wines have just gotten progressively better year in and year out.
Beautiful.
They do make 2 cabs. Actually, coincidentally enough, Kate Goodman makes the Australian cab, but this Cabernet is from Paso Robles,
which is my favorite part of California.
And I love the juiciness, the really rich, ripe berry aromatics that come from Paso Robles. The winemaker here is Bill Nancaro, and Bill was winemaker at Duckhorn for 12 years. So he is one of our favorite guys. He also works for a winery called Goose Cross, which you carry their Sauvignon Blanc here. But this is really, his true light shines in Paso Robles, and a vineyard we've been working with for 20 years.
Right. The aromatics on this are just stunning. You get that black cherry, black berry, black raspberry. So vibrant and so easy drinking and affordable, around $10, $11, $12 before Miss Sheila puts it on sale. So this is a great introductory cab for those out there who don't want to break the bank, who don't want to splurge on something they might not enjoy.
Now look, Paso Robles has become really famous the last 15 years. Places like Justin have really helped establish this. Dow Vineyards have really put a stamp on it as well. We make 3,000 cases from Paso Robles. We love it. We love the style that it comes from it. As you said, just the aromatics pop right from the glass. It's super smooth and a great way to get yourself into Paso Robles Cabernets.
Right. Number 3, back to Kate.
Yeah, so here's the Phoenix, right? I just love that label. So when she joined in 2015, they actually changed the label. It was kind of an old school Bordeaux style label.
Sure.
The Phoenix represents the Penley and the Penfold families coming together, the Tulleys, resurrecting the Tully name from the ashes. And a year after the winery was built, it wasn't quite complete, so half the winery actually blew up. So they actually had to rise from the ashes again.
Right.
But it has come to symbolize truly a renaissance for Coonawarra and Cabernet. This is the one we referred to earlier that was top 100 for Wine Spectator for her first 2 vintages, 15 and 16. This current vintage you have is actually 93 points from Wine Spectator.
I love it.
The best value for Cabernet for $20, without a doubt.
And it rises from your glass because it just changes dynamics. It's balanced, it's structured, it's flavorful. This would be a great Thanksgiving wine because it's so versatile.
Absolutely. And really, the best part of this wine is it's so unique. You'll never confuse this for California wine. I love tasting it next to Paso Robles because it's so different. It really speaks of Coonawarra and the place that it comes from. We love having this by the glass in restaurants because it is unique. It turns people on to a place for Cabernet that they might not have seen before.
You get eucalyptus and some mint, cassis, mocha, everything that comes from down under is represented in this bottle.
Wonderful. 20 was a great vintage, 21 will be even better when it comes out.
I love it, it's so smooth. And the last one.
So last we saved for more California, and we're going up the ladder significantly here. Robert Craig is new to our portfolio since March this year, but he's not a new winery. It's been around since 1990. Robert Craig was a pioneer for mountaintop fruit in Napa Valley. As a matter of fact, his winery is the highest winery and vineyard in all of California at 2,200 feet. He's a specialist in Cabernet. This Howell Mountain Cuvée is a blend you'll see for a few years. Because it was a vineyard they had to rip out and replant, so it's younger vines, and it gives people an opportunity to get into Howell Mountain at a fraction of the cost of what you normally get into.
I like this because you can taste the blend, you can taste the Cabernet, the Merlot, the Malbec, and it's just so austere and flavorful because it's such a great blend.
It is. It's Cabernet, of course, dominates here. The only thing they don't have in this blend for the primary Bordeaux varietals is Cab Franc because it doesn't grow very well up on Howell Mountain. But there's a little Malbec, there's a little Merlot, there's a little Petit Verdot, as you mentioned. But Cabernet's a star here, and for the next couple of years, you'll be able to see this cuvee and get it for a wonderful price. Another normal Howell Mountain Cabernet is $125, so this is really a bargain.
Right, right.
But I love their strength, the depth. When you're talking about mountain fruit, this is 100% from their estate in Howell Mountain.
And stew season and soup season, pasta season is upon us. So these would pair perfectly with any of those comfort foods.
Absolutely.
Well, Chris, it's been a great midterm election. It's been a great start to fall. Thanksgiving is around the corner. Everybody come on down to Argonaut, help us celebrate, pick out some great wines, and keep on drinking.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks again.